My online sweetheart's profile picture was a catfish using the campus queen's photo. I was so pissed off that I went off on her. She's pretty plain, totally not my cup of tea. With a face like that, it's over between us. Or maybe you should consider getting a makeover. I figured once she was called out, she'd ghost me for good. But the very next day, word got around that the campus queen had been crying her eyes out. She was going on about wanting to get cosmetic surgery. When my online sweetheart sent me her actual picture, my heart sank. Staring at that face, so stunning it could stop traffic. A firestorm of rage is brewing inside me. Of all the pictures he could have stolen, why on earth did it have to be by Ningbing's? What's more, that's the very picture I took and posted on the confession wall myself. Couldn't he have at least tried a little harder with his lies? Noticing my prolonged silence, the other person grew anxious and asked, "What's the matter, sweetie? Don't you like it? Is it because I'm not good looking? Honestly, I just don't photograph well." And who exactly is not photogenic here? You, or Bai Ningbing? She knows the answer perfectly well. I just can't buy that Bai Ningbing, with his icy, standoffish demeanor, would be into online dating and text me, baby, on WeChat all the time. Then it hit me. That photo of his abs he sent me earlier. Ugh, don't tell me those were fake as well. What the hell is even real anymore? Fuming, I decided to ask a question I already knew the answer to. Is this really you? An instant reply popped up. Yes, baby, it's really me. Still lying through your teeth, even when you're cornered. You really think I'm that gullible? I was absolutely fuming and unleashed a torrent of words at him. He's pretty plain looking, totally not my cup of tea. Given how you look, I think we should call it quits. Or maybe you should go get some plastic surgery. A long silence hung on the other end of the line. Just when I thought I'd called his bluff and he was too ashamed to respond, my phone pinged with another message. Can't we just stay together, babe? This is just how I look. I can't help it. Is plastic surgery really the only option? He's really hamming it up. Let's see how long he can keep this charade going. Too bad, but you're just not my cup of tea. This is a lot to take in. I need some time to process it. I think we should take a break from talking for now. No objections from the other side. All right, I'll give you some space for now. Don't be upset, sweetie. I'll figure something out. Sad. Me? What on earth is he going to figure out? Is he planning to kidnap Bai Ningbing and force her to be my online girlfriend or something? My heart sank. I put down my phone in despair. Online dating is really not reliable at all. I was utterly heartbroken. I went and downloaded the Anti-Fraud Center app right away. The next day, I slept in until noon. I had just gotten up when I ran into Hee Chong, who came rushing back, super excited. Guys, you won't believe the tea I've got. It's massive. You'll never guess what I just saw while I was out getting food. The others called him out, completely unfazed. Who else gets you this worked up? It's gotta be Bai Ningbing. Hearing that name, Hee Chong got even more hyped up. You hit the nail on the head. Bai Ningbing was sitting right beside me at lunch today. Her eyes were all puffy and red, like she'd been crying her eyes out. The whole dorm room instantly erupted. No way. Bai Ningbing actually cried? Dead serious. I even snapped a picture. As Hee Chong said this, he pulled out his phone to show us the proof. Despite what went down yesterday, hearing Bai Ningbing's name still made me feel a bit weird. But hey, a pretty face is innocent, right? I scrambled down from my top bunk to get a look at the photo. As I was heading downstairs, Hee Chong went on to say, not only did she cry, but she also kept going on about wanting plastic surgery. Apparently, her boyfriend said she was just average looking and wanted to break things off. Hearing that, the others completely lost it. What? Bai Ningbing is just average? Is her boyfriend's taste even normal? When I heard that, I froze. A rather absurd idea popped into my head. Lost in thought, I wasn't watching my step. I missed a step on the stairs and tumbled right to the floor. Hee Chong rushed over and helped me to my feet. Fang Yuan, how could you be so clumsy? Is it because you think Bai Ningbing's boyfriend is too ridiculous? I think the whole world has gone a bit crazy. Too guilty to look up, I kept my head down. But then a sharp pain shot through my ankle. I think my ankle might be broken. Everyone who heard me went into full panic mode. They quickly found a wheelchair and rushed me to the hospital. Sitting in the hospital waiting area, I stared blankly at the chat window with my online crush. He really is Bai Ningbing. He wasn't just bluffing? That doesn't make any sense. Looking back at the bold claims I made last night, I instantly wanted to crawl into a hole and disappear. To have criticized Bai Ningbing's looks, I was so ungrateful, even though I was almost sure he wasn't lying. A tiny part of me was still holding out hope. I sent her a message anyway. Hey there, could you send me a selfie? She replied right away, as she always did, but didn't send the picture. Ah, forget it, babe. I'm really not that photogenic. If you're not interested, no need to force yourself. Reading his message, a pang of guilt twisted even deeper inside me. I'm not forcing anything. I really do want to see. A few minutes later, a photo popped up from him. Bai Ningbing's strikingly handsome face filled my screen. And with it, my last shred of denial was utterly shattered. I tilted my head up at a 45-degree angle, gazing at the sky. A pang of regret washed over me. Sweetie, why are you so quiet? Don't you like it? If you don't like it, I'll take it back right away. I could see she was on the verge of a meltdown. I hurriedly replied, No, I really like it. I glanced at the picture again. Something seemed off. Why on earth are you wearing sunglasses inside? Bai Ningbing gave an explanation that only served to highlight what he was trying to hide. I didn't sleep well last night, so my eyes are swollen. I remembered He Chong saying he had cried his eyes red. I was even more annoyed that I hadn't called him out. I was just about to confront Bai Ningbing about last night. He Chong had already finished checking us in and guided me into the exam room. I had no choice but to put my phone away. The doctor examined it and said it wasn't too serious. Just rest it for a few days. Don't put any strain on it, and it should heal up. After leaving the doctor's office, I turned my phone back on. Messages started popping up one after another. They kept flooding in nonstop. Honey, please don't break up with me. I know you're not fond of my appearance. From now on, I won't show my face on our video calls, I promise. Medical science is so advanced these days. I can get cosmetic surgery. Who's your type? Gao Yuan or Bridget Lin? I can have surgery to look just like them. This message really feels like it's from Bai Ningbing. He seems pretty rattled by what I said. I quickly sent him a message back. You don't need to change anything. You're really handsome. I was the one who was blind last night. But on the other end, he didn't seem convinced. Baby, you don't have to comfort me just because you like me. Seeing that I couldn't get through to him, I just decided to call him instead. When Bai Ningbing picked up, he asked tentatively, accompanied by soft, gentle breaths. Hearing her call me baby, I was completely flustered. Are you listening? Bai Ningbing's voice snapped me back to reality. I hastily replied, I'm listening. I meant every word. You're truly very attractive. You're breathtakingly beautiful, the kind that inspires envy in everyone. You don't need to change anything on my account. After hearing this, the voice on the other end asked hesitantly, Really? Of course. Bai Ningbing paused, as if wrestling with something internally. She spoke up, her voice laced with a hint of grievance. But since last night, you haven't called me wife a single time. My grip tightened involuntarily. I was completely caught off guard by her words. How can online bravado be the same as reality? And besides, she's Bai Ningbing. I opened my mouth, but found myself utterly speechless. As my silence dragged on, Bai Ningbing's voice grew thick with emotion. Is it because you've seen my face that you can't bring yourself to say it? I instantly denied it. Of course not. Bai Ningbing didn't say anything more. As if waiting for something, I was frantically psyching myself up internally. Took a deep breath and forced 2 words out through gritted teeth. Wife. A soft chuckle sounded by my ear. My cheeks flushed crimson. Right at that moment, He Chong suddenly started slapping my shoulder frantically. She exclaimed excitedly that Fong Yuan was Bai Ningbing. My heart skipped a beat, and I looked up ahead. Bai Ningbing was standing in the crowd with a phone, standing out conspicuously. He scanned the surroundings, as if searching for something. Finally, his eyes settled on me. She was speaking, her voice coming through the phone into my ears. Baby, calling me that over the phone isn't sincere enough. Say it to my face, okay? What? I saw Bai Ningbing striding quickly toward me. I panicked instantly. My first instinct was to run. But being confined to a wheelchair, I couldn't move. And He Chong, who was controlling my wheelchair, was completely captivated by Ningbing's beauty and was utterly spellbound. In a fluster, I looked up at the ceiling, then down at the floor. Finally, I lowered my head and stared fixedly at my feet, trying to make myself invisible for a moment. A pair of white high heels came into view. Then, a gentle voice sounded from above me. Fong Yuan. I'm grateful he didn't call me baby in front of all these people. Otherwise, even with a bum leg, I would have hobbled out of here. I took a deep breath, steeled myself, and finally looked up. Bai Ningbing's face was more sculpted and flawless than in the pictures. My mind went completely blank. She stared at me intently, as if she was waiting for me to break the silence. After an eternity of frantic thinking, I finally managed to blurt out, "Fancy meeting you here." The moment I said it, I wanted to slap myself. After all the lines I've memorized, all that high EQ communication I've studied, it was all for nothing. I cursed myself inwardly. By Ning Bing, perhaps put off by my awkward informal greeting, I was at a loss for words for a second. I looked down and suddenly noticed my foot. Her voice instantly turned anxious. "Sweetie, what happened to your foot? Why didn't you say anything?" Her voice then took on a hurt tone. "Don't you want to see me anymore? Or don't you even want to talk to me?" Looks like last night, when I told her she was just average, and that I wanted to break up, really did a number on her. I hurried to explain. "It's just a twisted ankle, nothing serious." It all happened so fast, I didn't get a chance to let you know. Bai Ningbing stared at me with wide, expectant eyes. Clearly, he wasn't buying my story. I had no choice but to reach out and give his sleeve a little tug. In a soft, pleading tone, I said, "I just didn't want you to worry." Bai Ningbing seemed appeased. Not only was he appeased, but the tips of his ears also betrayed him by turning a faint pink. He Chong, who had been standing by and watching the whole exchange for a good 10 minutes. His eyes were practically bugging out of his head. Standing next to us, he blurted out in utter disbelief, "Did I get food poisoning from that cheap group order meal? If Chong got sick from that sketchy takeout, then I must be tripping on wild mushrooms." His brain had already short-circuited the moment Bai Ningbing approached. After taking a few minutes to recover, he finally rebooted his system. He stared at the two of us, utterly stunned. "Fang Yuan, you know Bai Ningbing?" Just as I was racking my brains on how to introduce Bai Ningbing, he jumped the gun and took the initiative. "Hi, I'm Fang Yuan's girlfriend." He Chong was stunned by this bombshell of a statement. His brain, which had just rebooted, crashed all over again. "Girlfriend? You mean, that kind of girlfriend? What are you talking about? Speak Chinese, will you?" He Chong's rapid-fire questions left Bai Ningbing. The smile that had been playing on her lips froze in place. She glanced at me, a trace of bitterness in her expression. "So, Fang Yuan never brought me up. Wait, why does he look like someone whose heart's been shattered by a scumbag?" Only after hearing those words did He Chong finally snap out of his daze. "Oh, we absolutely talked about it, for sure. Our whole dorm was constantly buzzing about you." Well, he's not wrong about that. The whole room is full of looks-obsessed guys who love nothing more than browsing pictures of pretty girls. A stunning beauty like Bai Ningbing? Of course we didn't let that slide. Once He Chong had fully collected himself, it finally dawned on him that something was off. His smile faded, replaced by a serious look as he turned to him. "Hold on, that's not right. I distinctly remember you having a boyfriend. I only just found out today that your boyfriend is trying to dump you." Bai Ningbing was left scratching his head by her pointed question. "My boyfriend is Fang Yuan." That's impossible. From the look on He Chong's face, he'd already pegged Bai Ningbing as a total jerk. "Your boyfriend said you're nothing special to look at. There's no way our Fang Yuan would ever say something like that." Caught in the crossfire, I was starting to sweat bullets. The mention of it instantly deflated Bai Ningbing. I reached out and tugged at the overprotective He Chong. I struggled to get the words out. "Yeah, I'm the one who said that." He Chong took another hit. The look he shot me practically screamed, "Dude, you're a real smooth operator. This is not the moment to be simping over Bai Ningbing's pictures." He stepped back, moved in close to my ear, and whispered, "Nice one. You actually face-planted right into Bai Ningbing." What could I possibly say to convince him it was all an accident? Having delivered his zinger, He Chong came up with some flimsy pretext and made himself scarce. Once it was just Bai Ningbing and me. The awkwardness of the situation finally dawned on me. After all, this counts as my first real-life meeting with Bai Ningbing. I was the first to speak, breaking the silence. "What brings you to the hospital?" Bai Ningbing tightened his grip on the paper in his hand. He tried to play it off, saying it was nothing. I sensed something was wrong and held out my hand to him. Even though it was our first time meeting, he instantly got what I meant. With some reluctance, he passed me what he was holding. My eyes fell on the paper, where the words cosmetic and body contouring were printed in bold. "This is giving me a headache." "You came for a plastic surgery consultation?" I thought he was just kidding. I never thought he'd actually go for it. Bai Ningbing looked at me, sounding a bit downcast. "The doctor threw me out. Said I was here to cause trouble. He even suggested I should get my head checked." I can only imagine the doctor's trauma. Being the one who caused all this, right now, I wish the ground would swallow me up. I looked at him with a very apologetic expression. I started explaining about last night. I'm so sorry. I thought you were a picture thief yesterday. That's why I said that. I didn't mean it that way. After hearing this, Bai Ningbing's eyes lit up. Really? I nodded. Excited, he reached out and pulled me into a hug. I knew it. My darling, you do like me. And you definitely like my looks too. I froze on the spot. My heart was already racing wildly. On the way, Bai Ningbing walked me back. I hesitated the entire way, carefully choosing my words. Can we keep things on the down low at school? Hearing this led me to a secluded corner. He crouched down to meet my eyes. Are you saying we should keep our relationship under wraps? I was actually planning to be a bit more subtle about it. I never thought he'd be so blunt about it. I nodded hesitantly. Bai Ningbing seemed a bit dejected. Why? I took her hand in mine to comfort her, saying, it's not that we have to keep it a secret forever. Let's just wait until we're more familiar with each other. An online relationship where we never meet face-to-face feels unreal. Other than today, the name Bai Ningbing. Has only existed as a voice in my ear. I still can't manage to connect him with the person online. Bai Ningbing said, sounding unconvinced. We're not close enough yet? You've already seen my abs pics and fishnet pics. Or is it that you just don't want to take responsibility? Is that what you call getting to know someone? I beg to differ. I immediately clapped a hand over her mouth, mortified beyond belief. Bai Ningbing's lips curled into a smirk and pulled my hand away. With my finger in his grasp, his voice lilting upward. That could be arranged. But you'll have to make it up to me, won't you? How exactly? He seemed to have been waiting for just that question. A smile laced the end of his words. Have you forgotten you're supposed to call me to my face? In an instant, I caught his drift. The fingers his hands had brushed began to burn. The heat rushed to my cheeks. I didn't dare look him in the eye. Bai Ningbing didn't rush me either. Instead, she waited patiently. A gentle breeze tousled my hair. She reached up and gently tucked it behind my ear. Then, her fingers lingered to caress my earlobe. Her every move heightened my senses to an almost unbearable degree. Finally, I managed to choke out 2 words from the depths of my throat. Wife. Bai Ningbing's fingers, still resting on my earlobe, froze for a moment. Then, she leaned in closer. A cool sensation brushed against my lips. After that fleeting touch, he leaned in close to my ear and whispered right into my ear. I can't wait much longer. So hurry up and let me into your heart. Bai Ningbing and I began a secret romance. Day 5 of our secret fling. I spotted him in the same elective class. He swaggered over and plopped down right next to me, then asked me, in a tone of polite distance that was nonetheless loaded with meaning, is there anyone next to you, classmate? I was just about to say that. Turning around, I suddenly noticed He Chong and the others. He had already very tactfully taken a seat in the back row. I shook my head, my heart as cold as ashes. Bai Ningbing sat down without a word, eyes from all directions, as if trying to see right through me. I angrily picked up my phone. Send a message to Bai Ningbing. I thought we agreed this was supposed to be a secret. Bai Ningbing, sitting beside me, gave a soft chuckle. We're supposed to be dating in secret. But that won't stop me from pursuing you openly. Suddenly, I feel like I got the short end of the stick calling you wifey the other day. Feels like I sold myself short. This guy is clearly a tough nut to crack. I put my phone away and stopped engaging with Bai Ningbing. After the professor entered the room, his gaze seemed to drift over us, subtle and almost imperceptible. He shot a glance our way. Putting down his bag, he smiled and said to us, looks like everyone's got romance on the brain. This is the first time I've ever seen a class with every seat taken. That's right, this is an elective course all about love. It's the school's first time offering it. I had to pull out all the stops to get in, just here for the fun of it. In class, Bai Ningbing was surprisingly well-behaved. Not just well-behaved, but also incredibly focused. He wrote down every point the teacher made. I stole a glance at his notebook. It was crammed full of writing. Meanwhile, my page was a total blank. A pang of guilt hit me right then. I put on an act and scribbled down a few words. After the lecture, the teacher moved on to the practical part. He called up 3 pairs of students to act out scenes. Scenes depicting confession, being in a relationship, and breakup. I couldn't help but crack up when He Chong got called to the front. Then, without missing a beat, the teacher called out my name and Bai Ningbing's. One moment I was all smiles, the next my smile vanished. By Ningbing, Fang Yuan, you too. Come up here and act out a breakup scene. I hadn't even wiped the grin off my face. I didn't dare open my eyes, praying it was all in my head. The teacher stood at the front of the class, watching us. Bai Ningbing frowned, a flicker of displeasure in his eyes. Afraid he'd outright refuse, I grabbed his arm and pulled us both to our feet. I made my way to the front of the classroom, under the gaze of my classmates, all anticipating drama. Without wasting a second, I blurted out to her, "Let's break up." My words held no emotion or tact. They were completely perfunctory. Normally, if she had just said okay, that would have been the end of it. But who could have guessed she'd completely throw the script out the window? Her reply was immediate, tumbling out without a second thought. "Baby, please don't break up with me." Hearing those familiar words, both she and I were stunned. The classroom erupted into a massive uproar of teasing. The teacher struggled to regain control of the class. All eyes were on us once more, on me and Bai Ningbing. I averted my gaze, turning my head away from him. Without looking at him, I delivered my lines mechanically. "No, we have to break up." The words out, a weight lifted from my shoulders. As Bai Ningbing and I walked back to our seats side by side, his fingers ghosted over my palm, a touch so light it was almost imagined. I jerked my hand back as if I'd been shocked. The teacher didn't start her critique until we had returned to our seats. "You both performed wonderfully." Bai Ningbing, especially, demonstrated remarkable empathy. It was as if her boyfriend was actually breaking up with her. For some reason, I had a nagging feeling there was more to the teacher's words. At those words, the corner of Bai Ningbing's mouth twitched. After class, as I was heading out, the teacher suddenly called out to stop me and Bai Ningbing. I was completely in the dark and couldn't imagine why. The reason he kept us behind. Once the classroom was empty except for the three of us, Bai Ningbing finally blurted out to the teacher, "Auntie, could you not use us as your punching bags next time?" "Hold on, since when is she Auntie? And meeting the parents already?" The teacher shot him a glare, but said nothing. She came straight over to me with a smile. "You must be Fang Yuan. I wondered why that girl suddenly showed up the other day, asking me if she was pretty. So that's why she's got a boyfriend. You're such a looker. Honestly, she's punching above her weight with you. I have a few students here who are quite handsome. Why don't you have a look?" Song kinks you. How dare you try to steal him right in front of me? Bai Ningbing immediately pulled me into a protective hug, shielding me behind her. Teacher Song wasn't the least bit offended. On the contrary, she kept her eyes on me and went on. "See, he's just plain rude." A vein throbbed at Bai Ningbing's temple. Grabbing my hand, she made to leave. Teacher Song was still behind us, doggedly trying to persuade me. "Fang Yuan, come on, think it over again. We should shop around before making a decision." Bai Ningbing simply reached up and covered my ears. Then she led me out of the classroom. "Sorry about that. My aunt is just like that. She loves to crack jokes." Bai Ningbing brought me to a secluded stairwell in the corner and began to explain. "I actually think Ms. Song is quite fun, and she says the most amusing things." I was just rambling on, completely oblivious, the dangerous glint gradually appearing in Bai Ningbing's eyes. By the time I snapped out of it, he had already thrown himself into my arms. The other merchandise around here is nowhere near as good as I am. Before I could even process what he meant, he just grabbed my hand and pressed it against his defined abs. My heart gave a violent thump. The warmth from her palm spread to my face. Instinctively, I tried to pull my hand away, but she held it down more firmly. She took my hand and guided it, guiding it to trace each defined ridge of her abs. My body slowly tensed up. My breathing grew labored. Helplessly, I watched as my hand was guided steadily downward. Finally, Bai Ningbing halted, still clasping my hand. He nuzzled into the crook of my neck. "Babe, I've checked the merchandise. It's the real deal, no doubt about it." Those words finally jogged my memory. Whenever she'd send me pics flaunting her abs, I'd made countless empty boasts, saying I needed to see it in person to believe it. I never thought he'd actually remember. I wanted to kick my past self. But Bai Ningbing wasn't about to let me off the hook. His breath fanned across my face. With a suggestive tone, he looked at me and said, "So, are you happy now? It seems the tables have turned between us. When we're chatting online, I'm always the one saying things that leave her speechless. But face to face, she's got me wrapped around her little finger. Karma's a bitch, isn't it?" I bit my lip. I was enveloped by his scent, his very presence, mesmerized by his gaze. As he wished, I whispered 2 words, satisfied. Her grip on my waist tightened. Her other hand caressed my cheek. The sound of my heartbeat was drowned out by the sensation that followed. On the way back to the dorm, I touched my still flushed face. It finally dawned on me what was really going on. Bai Ningbing was jealous. Just then, his message popped up, as if on cue. She's got a six-pack, just hang in there. Sweetie, are you back at the dorm yet? I got you that cake from your favorite bakery. Staring at his contact name in my phone, the one I'd originally saved, I couldn't even look at the words six-pack without cringing. Recalling what I just saw, I promptly changed his name to Wolf in sheep's clothing. Satisfied with my edit, I backed out and started typing a reply. I had originally planned to keep my weekend clear for a date with Bai Ningbing, but then the student council dinner came up. The president insisted on dragging me along. Many of the underclassmen joined during the recruitment drive. They joined specifically for you. If you don't show up, they probably won't show up either. As for Chun Yubai's other talents as president, they're still unclear. But his gift of gab is undeniable. Otherwise, I never would have fallen for his smooth talk and joined the student union back then. Dealing with thankless chores every day was bad enough. But to quit, you even have to submit a handwritten 5,000-word application. That's the last straw. I knew perfectly well he wouldn't take no for an answer. In the end, I had no choice but to nod and give in. After carefully choosing my words, I told Bai Ningbing about it. She didn't seem upset in the slightest. Without another word, she just told me to enjoy myself. During these days spent with him, I felt I had gotten to know him a little. So when he said that, I knew it couldn't be good. On the day of the dinner party, the moment I stepped into the private room, all eyes were instantly on me. Some even had excited sparks in their eyes. Not sure what was going on, I found a seat and sat down. With most people present, the vice chairman was about to start. Chin Yubai cut in to stop him. Hold on, I'm still waiting for a friend. No sooner had she spoken than the door swung open. Bai Ningbing walked in, wearing a black miniskirt and a baseball cap. Her eyes swept across the room before finally landing on me. She gave me a knowing smile. Gripping my cup, I tried to mask my inner excitement. I knew it. This guy was definitely up to no good. Some folks in the crowd have already recognized him. Their faces all showed a hint of surprise. Chin Yubai looked proud, as if his friend was a real credit to him. He stepped forward to greet him. This is my friend Bai Ningbing. As soon as he said it, the room filled with a wave of good-natured teasing. Bai Ningbing gave a slight, polite nod and greeted them in return. Then, with all eyes on him, took a seat beside me. Chin Yubai's face took on a strange look. Ventured to ask him, "You know Fong Yuan?" Bai Ningbing replied with complete candor. "We're partners for an elective class." Chin Yubai then looked at me, seeking confirmation. I gave a silent nod. The vice chairman was completely oblivious that anything was amiss. I couldn't wait to start organizing the dinner party. I wasn't really feeling it from the start. Once Bai Ningbing showed up, he completely stole the show. With a drink in one hand, his other hand drifted slowly in the dim light, until it finally came to rest on mine. Flustered, I glanced around at the others, and seeing that no one had noticed us, I breathed a sigh of relief. The clamor around us faded away. A secret thrill surged within me. Seeing that I didn't pull away, Bai Ningbing pushed his luck and took hold of my hand. Just then, Chin Yubai suddenly turned and looked straight at me. I was about to pull my hand back. The lights in the private room suddenly cut out. Seizing the opportunity of darkness, Bai Ningbing interlaced his fingers with mine. In those 2 minutes of darkness, all I could hear was the pounding of my own heart. I could feel Bai Ningbing's breath and the warmth radiating from his palm. It felt as if the whole world had faded away, leaving only him and me. The moment the lights came back on, Bai Ningbing, ever the tactful one, promptly released my hand and put a safe distance between us. Suddenly, a huge bouquet of roses materialized right in front of me. Holding the roses and standing at the center of the crowd was my junior, a student 1 year below me. I've only seen her a handful of times. I don't have any particular impression of her. If I still haven't caught on to what's going on here, then I'm a complete idiot. If I think Bai Ningbing hasn't noticed, then I'm an even bigger fool. Feeling a bit guilty, I stole a glance at Bai Ningbing. He looked completely expressionless. He seemed unfazed. That is, if you ignore the way he's gripping his cup. The veins on his hand stood out from the strain. I tried to get a word in before that underclasswoman could, but she had already stepped forward and held the flowers out right in front of me. The whole scene had become incredibly awkward. On the far left was the crowd, egging us on. In the middle stood the underclasswoman, holding the bouquet. And on the far right, Bai Ningbing and I were frozen on the sofa. The underclasswoman's gaze shifted to Bai Ningbing, her eyes silently urging her to make herself scarce, so she could shine even brighter. Bai Ningbing completely brushed off her hint, and he looked visibly annoyed. The others furrowed their brows a little, as if they thought he was being a total buzzkill. I suddenly started to regret ever saying yes to practicing this problem. Otherwise, we wouldn't be stuck in this super awkward situation. The junior girl stopped worrying about Bai Ningbing and turned to me with a nervous look. "Senior, I like you. Will you be my boyfriend?" I clearly heard Bai Ningbing's disdainful snort. The onlookers started egging me on, chanting, "Say yes." A sudden headache started to throb in my temples. It finally dawned on me why Chen Yu Bai had been so insistent that I attend this party. But what I couldn't figure out was why this underclassman had orchestrated this public confession with everyone's help, integrated into the translation of subtitle 658. After all, I'd exchanged no more than 10 words with her, and it's all about work. Even though this confession was a long shot, even though this is my least favorite way, the junior looked at me with hopeful eyes. I turned her down without a second thought. "I'm really sorry. I'm already seeing someone." The junior gave a wry smile. She didn't buy my excuse. "Senior, you don't have to make up an excuse to turn me down. I know you're single. You may not be into me right now, but we could give it a shot. I'll be good to you." Seeing him start to act up and be persistent, I was getting annoyed. I was about to drop some harsh truth to make him back off. Bai Ningbing, who had been sitting there quietly the whole time, suddenly spoke up. "Actually, he does have a girlfriend." When everyone heard him speak up for me, their expressions all shifted in various ways. The underclassmen didn't believe what I said. Yet, because of what Bai Ningbing said, she started to have second thoughts. Seeing the situation at a stalemate, Chen Yi took the initiative to ask Bai Ningbing, "How would you know that?" After what just happened, I had absolutely no interest left in discussing a secret romance. I was just about to speak up about my relationship with Bai Ningbing. She threw me another curveball. Because his girlfriend is one of my besties. I whipped my head around to look at him, stunned. There was a subtle glint in Bai Ningbing's eyes, as if he was fishing for praise. It seemed to say, "See, I kept my promise about keeping our relationship under wraps." A dense, prickly ache spread through my heart. Not feeling great. My sister and she are really close. She's really into her. They're literally a match made in heaven. The junior's face went pale in an instant, as if she'd been dealt a heavy blow. Her lips quivering, she looked my way. "So it's true, senior? You have a girlfriend?" I gave a firm nod and answered earnestly. "We're very close. I'm quite fond of him too. We two are truly a match made in heaven." The expressions on everyone's faces gradually grew complicated. Only Bai Ningbing couldn't contain herself. A smile tugged at her lips. She stood up and addressed the group. "I'll see her home first. You all carry on without us." With that, she took my hand and led me out. What was supposed to be a nice gathering had turned into a complete mess. No one was in the mood to keep playing, so nobody tried to stop us. Nor did anyone notice Bai Ningbing holding hands with her friend's boyfriend was anything out of the ordinary. After Bai Ningbing dragged me out, I trailed after her, feeling I needed to explain myself. I had no idea he was planning to confess today. Otherwise, I would never have shown up. Bai Ningbing's expression was unreadable. She replied flatly, "I know." He was aware, but it didn't sit right with him. The person she was now in her online persona seemed alike in some ways, yet distinct in others. Both of them were prone to jealousy. Both could feel threatened by the presence of others. However, the key distinction was this. The online Bai Ningbing could be completely uninhibited and voice her innermost thoughts without hesitation, barely concealing his possessiveness over me. But the Bai Ningbing before me is even more cautious, struggling to keep his feelings in check, afraid that losing control would push me further away. Even though he's holding my hand right now, he feels even more insecure. I'm starting to think more and more that my initial idea of having a secret relationship wasn't a good one. A casual comment from me about someone being average looking would make him, and started to question my own worth. but still went along with what I wanted. Agreed to a relationship we kept under wraps. I felt a lump forming in my throat. Mumbled a quiet, "I'm sorry" to him. By Ning Bing, walking ahead of me, stiffened for a moment. "Sweetheart, don't apologize. I don't blame you. It's only natural that others would be drawn to someone as wonderful as you. Is perfectly understandable. I'm mad at myself for being so petty. I like that you're a little petty. I like every version of you. Whether it's the Bai Ningbing I met online, or the real life Bai Ningbing, or the you standing right here, I love them all. Aside from all the online bravado, this is the first time I've confessed my feelings to him in person." Bai Ningbing was completely caught off guard by this sudden confession, leaving him feeling lightheaded and overwhelmed. I wrapped her in a tight embrace. I was at a loss for words. I just kept murmuring back to her, "I like you too. I'm so into you." After a moment in my arms, she pulled back slightly and met my gaze. "Forget about keeping this a secret. Let's be together, out in the open." Bai Ningbing's eyes lit up with barely contained joy, but she kept up her stubborn front. "Is this about what happened earlier tonight? Honestly, it's no big deal." Her words trailed off, losing their conviction. "No, it's because you found your way into my heart. Or maybe he had a place in my heart all along." The blare of car horns rose and fell around them. To her, they sounded like a fanfare of celebration. She could hold back no longer. He kept leaning in, planting gentle kisses on the corner of my lips. "I'm going to tell Annie right this second that I'm your favorite." She was over the moon and completely at a loss. She whipped out her phone, eager to brag. My eyes instantly landed on his phone's wallpaper. It was a picture of me, and from the looks of it, a candid shot. Judging by the hairstyle and outfit, it must have been taken about a year ago. I shot her a puzzled look. Bai Ningbing, completely absorbed in staking her claim, was totally oblivious to anything being amiss. After he had sent the message with satisfaction and turned to look at me, he finally sensed the awkward tension in the air. "What's the matter, Fong Yuan?" I held out my hand, asking for his phone. Bai Ningbing looked a bit confused, but he still handed his phone over to me. I unlocked the screen and held it up for Bai Ningbing to see. "What's the meaning of this? I'm sure I never sent you this picture." His throat bobbed, betraying a hint of nervousness. He stepped forward, took my hand, and explained. "This is what I saved from the crush wall a year ago." "A year ago? Remember when you sneakily snapped a picture of me and posted it on the crush wall?" I averted my gaze, unable to meet his eyes. "How did you figure out it was me?" "Because I saw you taking that sneaky shot." Bai Ningbing's grip on my hand tightened as he spoke. "That was the very first time I laid eyes on you. When I realized you were snapping pics of me on the sly, I purposely struck my best pose. My friend is the one who runs the confession wall. I bribed him to snag your contact details. Later on, you posted on the confession wall looking for a calculus tutor. I seized the chance and added you. That's how my online romance with Bai Ningbing started. I was being tortured by calculus, so I wanted to find a math major to tutor me. At first, things were still very innocent between us. Just a simple tutor-student relationship. Until one time she accidentally sent a photo showing off her toned abs. Our dynamic and conversations started to get flirty. Eventually, I figured a woman who's both smart and fit was someone I should lock down sooner rather than later. So I confessed my feelings. And naturally, we started dating online. But I was completely blindsided to find out it was all actually Bai Ningbing. A deliberate pursuit, born from that first, fateful glance. He had known exactly who I was the whole time. Noticing my prolonged silence, Bai Ningbing, my confidence, already wafer-thin, now completely shattered into panic. "Fong Yuan, I'm sorry. This was my mistake." Seeing him like that, I suddenly felt like teasing her. "All right, let's hear it. What exactly was your mistake?" "I shouldn't have pretended to tutor you in advanced math just to get close. And I definitely shouldn't have sent those selfies to try and lure you in. I shouldn't have kept you in the dark about this." I shook my head, dismissing what he said. Bai Ningbing's mind was racing a mile a minute, but she couldn't figure it out. I looked him dead in the eye and said with a smile, "Your mistake was not making a move on me back then. We could have been together ages ago." After that night, Bai Ningbing wanted to spend every waking moment by my side. He Chong and his buddies might just crack a few jokes at most, but Bai Ningbing's own aunt went straight for the jugular. Up on the podium, teacher song. Seeing Bai Ningbing grinning like a love-struck fool, just couldn't hold back from speaking up. "I feel I must emphasize this one more time. This is a class about love. not a class for falling in love. He didn't name names. But everyone's gaze seemed to drift our way, intentionally or not, in our direction, even though we weren't doing anything out of line. The most we did was hold hands between classes. I still couldn't bring myself to look up. Bai Ningbing, on the other hand, didn't bat an eyelid, and even flashed a provocative smile at Teacher Song. Teacher Song and I were simply mortified. When the relationship class was over, we headed to the cafeteria for lunch. Halfway there, we bumped into Chen Yubai. Seeing us holding hands, her world came crashing down. She stood there frozen for a few seconds before staring at Bai Ningbing. After much hesitation, she finally spoke, choosing her words very carefully. "You don't poach a friend's man." Before I could even react, Bai Ningbing had already pulled me into his arms. But what can I say? I have feelings for Fang Yuan. The only reason I befriended her was to get closer to Fang Yuan. I've been wanting to steal Fang Yuan away from her for ages. He stated it with such unwavering conviction. Chen Yubai appeared taken aback by his sheer audacity. My entire worldview was utterly shattered. "Bai Ningbing, I've truly misjudged your character." He threw out those words and stormed off, exasperated at my failure to live up to his expectations. Seeing the smirk playing on Bai Ningbing's lips, I couldn't help but feel a wave of helplessness. Is this how you go about tarnishing your own reputation in public? Don't worry, Chen Yubai won't spill the beans. I'll go back and clear things up with him. It'll be fine. But then he changed tack. Actually, he did bring something to my attention. Looks like we haven't made it Facebook official yet. If you listen closely, there's a hint of resentment in Bai Ningbing's tone. I really can't stand it when he gets like this. I immediately grabbed my phone and posted an update on my moments. I even showed it to Bai Ningbing for his approval. He gave it a quick, expressionless glance and said nothing. Then, he suddenly grabbed my wrist and started pulling me away from the cafeteria. He finally led me to a secluded corner. Bai Ningbing, what's wrong? I had barely finished speaking when, "Sweetheart, care to explain what a wolf in sheep's clothing really means? I feel like I'm done for." I'm at a loss for words. Bai Ningbing didn't press me any further. "Since you don't know, sweetheart, let me enlighten you." With that, he leaned in and captured my lips with his. "He really is a wolf in sheep's clothing, I suppose."